This, yeah, good field, good deep field.
Hi, everybody, and happy opening day. Believe it or not, it's the 90th anniversary. That's right. 1934 is when San Diego opened up its doors for the very first time, and we're delighted that you decided to join us today. My name's Tom Quigley, the seminar host for the next 40 minutes, and my seminar guest today, none other than the Southern California correspondent for the Daily Racing Forum, Brad Free. Brad, happy opening day. Welcome to the seminar.
Well, glad to be here. I was not here on opening day in 1934.
You stole my joke, my opening joke. That's exactly what I was going to say, but we've been here for a lot of them.
A lot of them.
And
yes.
a lot of them are memorable, and today sure looks like it's going to be one of those memorable ones.
It's one of the better cards, excluding the Breeders' Cup. This might be the best card that we've seen in the entire last year. I mean, it's fantastic. 6 graded stakes races, 3 grade ones. Deep fields all the way through, good gambling opportunities.
You know, it's interesting, Brett. I was looking through the roster of previous Malibu Stakes winners, and it reads like a who's who of successful horses throughout the years. I'll go way back in time to 1966, Buck Passer, Damascus, other horses like Ancient Title, J.O. Tobin, Spectacular Bid, Ferdinand. The list goes on and on. But maybe more importantly, Brad, they say that the Met Mile is the race for stallions. I would make a case that recently the Malibu Stakes might be a stallion type of race as well. Here's the reason why. Since 2017, the winners have been City of Light, off to a successful start as a stallion. Yep. Omaha Beach, similar scenario. Flightline, we haven't seen his babies yet, but boy, he sure got a good book of mares to breed to in his very first standing.
Looking forward to them. McKinsey is another one on the list.
Exactly right.
So, yeah, this is a stallion-making race, and good horses win the Malibu. And I think the best horses often win the Malibu. I believe that since Santa Anita returned to dirt, favorites in the Malibu are 8 for 14. They've won 5 of the last 6. So if you like Mystic Dan at a short price, there's some historical nuggets to support your wager.
We'll go through all 11 races in a moment, but what do you think about Mystic Dan? I have an opinion, but I want to hear yours first. Of course, he's probably the most talented horse in the race, but he had to take a van ride from Fairgrounds to get here. He's got to run against 4 Bob Baffert runners. Trainer Kenny McPeek doesn't do very well off the long layoff. There are some things not to like about him, but there are some things to like about him, particularly the way the race shapes up.
The way the race shapes up, and what you said right at the top, he's probably the best horse in the race. Maybe Ben Tornado, you can make a case that he's the fastest horse in the race off his Breeders' Cup Sprint runner-up. But I respect Mystic Dan. Any horse that wins the Kentucky Derby, in my opinion, he's the top 3-year-old going. And okay, his campaign stalled and he took some time off.
Understandably so, though. He competed in all 3 legs of the Triple Crown.
Absolutely. And his win in the Southwest was spectacular. His win in the Kentucky Derby was very, very good. He's trained well. 2-turn horses can win 7 furlong races first start back, but he is going up against racing fit horses, including Stronghold, who's been targeted to this race specifically, and the horse on the rail, Ben Tornado. I respect Mystic Dan, answer your question.
And our thanks to the owners and the trainer, Kenny McPeek of Mystic Dan, for shipping out here to the West Coast. That's not a thing that a lot of East Coast or Midwest trainers like to do. And of course, Ken's had a lot of success shipping in runners in the past as well. Very talented runners. He knows when to ship and when to not ship.
Yeah, I don't think any of his previous ship-ins traveled by van 1,900 miles. But Mystic Dan, he settled in. He's been here for a few days now. He had a nice little breeze over the track. Yes. He looks terrific out on the racetrack. I don't think that the ship, yeah, it's a challenge, but that's not going to get him beat. If he gets beat, it's going to be a faster horse that beats him.
And a lot of out-of-town jockeys didn't have to take a van ride. I'm sure they flew first class, but what a roster of jockeys we have on today's card. It's a who's who of riders internationally as well, particularly those who are based in Southern California who used to ride internationally.
Well, including Flavian Pratt, who I believe is sitting on 55 graded stakes wins for this year.
He's got to win the Eclipse Award, doesn't he?
I think he's the early favorite.
He has to be. I would bet on him right now.
Yeah, and if his next graded stakes win will be a record setter for graded stakes in 1 year, according to Vic Ryan in the Santa Anita publicity department. He's at 55 right now. I believe he's tied with Jerry Bailey for most graded stakes in 1 year. Pratt could do it today. He could win another one today and set the record.
We saw Pratt, of course, early on in his career. We knew he was a budding superstar. I think this year the whole country found out that he can compete with the best of the best.
Well, I think that the Sierra Leone's win in the Breeders' Cup Classic was kind of the icing on the cake. One of the first guys who recognized Pratt's prowess was trainer Richard Mandela.
No doubt about it.
He's the one who said, wow, this French kid can ride, brought him out here, gave him some mounts, and people started going, whoa, this kid can ride. And it turns out he's not a kid anymore. He's just the best jockey going.
And another kid many decades ago who came out here and nobody knew about was Frankie Dettori. He showed up. He was walking around the backside. Nobody gave him a mount. He stuck in there, and now he's an international superstar.
You have to love the guy.
High energy,
always optimistic, always smiling, always saying hi, always has a story to tell, and he can ride. and he's getting up there a little bit.
In his mid-50s,
Yeah,
but
he can
he's
still
shown he
ride.
can compete with the best.
No doubt about it.
And what about the main track and the turf course, Brad? I know that you spend a lot of time looking at profiles, rails up, rails not up. Is there anything just peripherally, not without going into too much detail, that we should know about? Like, would you prefer to see in dirt sprints horses forwardly placed on the turf course? Just kind of give us an overall assessment of maybe some of the things that stand out to you.
I'm glad you asked, and I'm not going to go into with any preconceived notions. There are certain times of the year where I will go into a meet that I've done a lot of homework on with, expecting a particular bias or track profile. I'm not going to do it this time around. I want to watch some races, see what happens. Rails up, rails down on the turf course. I know everybody says, oh, when the rails are up, speed does well. It's not true.
You've proven that to be false.
It's not true.
Correct. You've got data to back that up.
Plenty of data to back it up. When the rails are down, you can go wire to wire on grass. So I'm not going in with any preconceived notions at all. There are a couple of horses running today that we're going to get an early indication on how the track might play, including, I believe there's a horse named Dendera. Is that today?
Yes, there is.
She's a speed horse going 6.5. So she's going to be, and I don't think she can get 6.5.
Comes out of a very productive race. Four next out winners.
And she's a contender in the race. I'll be curious to see how she runs, and if she can carry her speed all the way, then maybe the track is speed favored. But I'm going on the assumption that the best horse is going to win. And in the case of the Malibu, there are 3 speed horses in the race that could set it up for the likes of Mystic Dan.
A lot of interest around the country, naturally so, on today's card. And since we're local residents, Brad, we know that unusually this year we have not had a lot of rain. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays, going back to the profiles in terms of whether it supports early speed either on the main track or dirt, because we've literally had no rain the month of December here in Southern California.
No rain whatsoever. So I guess you could maybe say, well, maybe speed will hold well on this firm.
But it's only a guess.
It's only a guess. If you like a come from behind her on grass, don't let that scare you away.
We're not going to guess at all. Brad's done the homework. We're going to take a look at all 11 races. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to Santa Anita's accomplished track announcer, Frank Miramati, and get the early changes on today's opening card here at the Great Race Place.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to opening day at Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. The track is fast, the turf is firm, the rail on the turf at 0 feet. Couple of quick announcements before we get going with the early changes. We will be honoring the great Hall of Fame jockey Lafitte Pink-Eye Jr., giving away a special print of Lafitte while supplies last. This will start at 10:30 a.m. So during the seminar, it'll begin in a half an hour, and Lafitte will be autographing his print near the Kingsbury Fountain in the infield. So go out and have an opportunity at the fountain area in 30 minutes and meet the great Lafitte Pink-Eye Jr. with the print giveaway, and he will be signing them. Additionally, we have a book signing today at our gift shop. That will also begin at about 10:30. The book is Well Armed, a Thoroughbred of Destiny. The author of the book, Jay Hovde, is on hand to sign his new book, along with the jockey and trainer of Well Armed, Aaron Grider and Owen Hardy. That book signing will go from 10:30 until 11:30 a.m. at our gift shop. Again, we're 30 minutes away from those signing opportunities. Here are the early changes on this spectacular opening day card. In the first race, the start of the 50-cent early pick 5, scratch number 4, Money Makes Money. Note that number 13, Player B, the jockey is Umberto Rispoli. And number 14, Commander, is scratch. Hector Barrios not riding on opening day. Rispoli on the 13. Race 2 kicks off the early pick 4. Just a couple of blinker notes in the second. In the third, number 4, Isn't She Loverly? Make the jockey Asael Espinosa. Asa Espinosa rides number 4 in race 3. Scratch the also eligibles. 13, Parle, 14, Rice Patty are both out. Turning to the fourth race, scratch number 5, Dory Miller. Race 4, scratch number 5. In the fifth, scratch 2, Catalina Cocktail. Scratch 12, Real Fire. And scratch number 13, Sariha. Scratch numbers 2, 12, and 13 out of race 5. Keep in mind the 5th today offers a 50-cent middle pick 4. The 6th race, the Lafitte Pink Eye Junior Stakes. Number 4, Express Train, will now be ridden by Luis Saez. The $2 pick 6 starts with the Lafitte Pink Eye Junior. In the 7th, the Grade 2 San Gabriel. Number 7, Mi Hermano Ramon. Make the jockey Luis Saez. We have a $3 all-turf pick 3 on races 7, 9, and 11. And the 50-cent late pick 5 starts with the 7th, the Grade 2 San Gabriel. In the 8th, the Grade 1 Malibu Stakes. Started the late pick 4. Scratch number 1, Ben Tornado. And scratch number 4, Senior Officer. 1 and 4 out of the Grade 1 Malibu. The 9th is the Grade 2 Mathis Miles Stakes. $3 late pick 3 starts with the 9th. Number 2, Atitlan, the jockey is Mike Smith. Scratch number 3, Curlin's Chaos. And scratch number 4, CNY. 3 and 4 are out of the 9th. In the 10th race, the La Brea Stakes, presented by Don Julio, Grade 1 event. Scratch 5, Ultimate Authority. Scratch 10, Tamara. And scratch number 11, Cavalieri. 5, 10, and 11 are out of the 10th, which kicks off the $5 late double. And the 11th race, the Grade 1 American Oak. Scratch 1, Omaha Girl. Scratch 2, Sakura Blossom. 1 and 2 are out. We offer super high 5 wagering only on the last, which is race 11. Enjoy opening day at Santa Anita Park. Post time just 57 minutes away. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. Opening day seminar guest, the Daily Racing Forum's Brad Free.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with Brad Freeze, the Southern California correspondent for the Daily Racing Forum. It's our pleasure to have him today as our special guest. Brad, a lot of ground to cover, so let's kick things off in race number 1, which is an indication of how competitive this card is. We've got a good field of 12 after the scratches of both 4 and 14. That means one of the also eligibles, number 13, Player B, does draw in. Also make the jockey Humberto Rispoli, Hector Barros, as you might have heard, not riding on today's card. But take a look at the current favorite, 5-1 on number 3, Oscar Joy from the Peter Miller barn. This is a great way to kick off the card and the meet, Brad. 6.5 down the hillside turf course. Rails are at 0 feet. Non-winners of 1 other than. First leg of the 50-cent early pick 5. Who do you like and why?
I like the program favorite, number 8, Mas Rapido. He's the fastest horse in the race. And when I say the fastest horse, I'm going on speed figures. Beyer speed figures and Thorograph are the 2 speed figures I use mostly. And he's dropping out of a 2 other than. He's running at the 1 other than allowance condition, entered for the $50,000 optional claim tag because he has already won at this level. On numbers, he's just the fastest horse in the race. And there are speed horses to run at. There's pace to flatter his closing kick, including number 2, Noble Reflection, number 11, Habeas, and number 12, Western Avenue. I think Mas Rapido he's a borderline standout in my opinion, which doesn't mean you can't make some money in this race because there are a couple long shots that I would hook him up with in the exacta, including my second selection, number 10, Dancing Rinka, who is shortening up from a route to a sprint, has run well at Santa Anita in the past, should get pace at which to run. And Dancing Rinka John Velasquez at 15-1 for trainer Neil Drysdale. He'll be rolling late. And then the aforementioned frontrunner, number 2, Noble Reflection, also taking a big drop in class, entered for the $50,000 tag. I think he's the speed of the speed with blinkers on. I expect Noble Reflection to run a lot better against easier company today. But the race goes through number 8, Mas Rapido. I put him on top of number 10 and 2, Dancing Rinka and Noble Reflection.
Noble Reflection was 20-1 on the morning line, now sitting on the tote board at 9-2 to give you an indication of tough this race is. There's been thousands of races run down the hillside turf course. The track record holder at this distance is Noble Reflection. If you have the program in front of you, you can see he did that back when he was a 5-year-old, covered the 6.5 furlongs in 110 and change. Now you can have him for $50,000, as Brad mentioned. Blinkers go on. Great way to start the card. Great way to start the meet. Let's take a look at race number 2. Brad begins the 50-cent early pick forward, sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track. For maiden special weight 2-year-olds, no surprise, Bob Baffert has 2 runners in here, top and bottom, including the morning line favorite on the rail, Matticut Road, exiting a grade 3 state, putting blinkers on. 3-5 according to Jeff Siegel. What's race 2 according to Brad Free?
Well, this race kind of epitomizes the Santa Anita Winter Meet. It's all about 2-year-olds turning 3 on the road toward the Kentucky Derby, and there are some very well-regarded 2-year-olds in this race, including the Bob Baffert trained Matticut Road and number 7, San Saba. Matticut Road, we've already seen, and we know he can run. He finished second in a stakes race, first time out, was well clear of third place. The winner of that race, Bullard, is going to enter 2025 as one of the top Derby prospects in California. Matticut Road's taking a drop in class. Baffert's putting blinkers on second time out. And if he moves forward off that debut, he will be very tough to beat at a short price. But his stablemate, San Saba, is training very well for his career debut. I don't know if he's cranked to win first time out going 3/4, but when Baffert has 2 in the race, you know that they're both live. Both very well regarded, expensive colts. The one with experience is the one that I think the bettors are going to settle on. Me too. I like number 1, Matticut Road, over number 7, San Saba.
Brad, you well know better than anybody else how valuable of a handicapping tool DRF Formulator is, and I use it extensively. I posted this a few days ago on Twitter. For those of you not on Twitter, I'll read it to you. Courtesy of DRF Formulator, jockey John Velasquez has ridden 21 first-time starters for Bob Baffert the last 5 years. He's won with 13 of them. That's 62%, and finished in the money an incredible 20 times, 20 out of 21, 95% of the time he's finished in the top 3. He rides San Saba today. Previous winners that John Velasquez rode in their debut for Bob Baffert include National Treasure, Newgate, Taba, McLaren Vale, and Newgrade. So certainly San Saba, who was the sales topper at the Phasic Tipped in October sale last year, a son of Justify. High hopes for him, but he's got to deal with a stablemate, as Brad indicated, number 1, Matticut Road. Let's turn the page, take a look at race number 3. We're back on the turf course. This time 2 turns, 1 mile the distance for 2-year-old fillies maiden special weights. Scratch the 2 also eligibles, 13 and 14, make the jockey a number 4. Isn't she lovely? Asa Espinoza, the morning line favorite, down on the rail from the Phil D'Amato barn, who you indicated in your analysis, Brad, could have a really big day. Number 1, Slick, 7-2 on the morning line. Big field here. Who do you like and why?
Well, Slick is a contender, but I like the filly who's going to be positioned in front of her, number 5, Lee's Baby Girl. And I know she started 8 times and she's still a maiden, but she's only started 3 times against maidens long on grass, and she finished second in all 3. Dropping in class from the grade 3 Jimmy Durante, that was a race in which the race unfolded completely wrong for her pressing style. The 1, 2, 3 finishers rallied from 9th, 10th, and 11th, and every horse that was forwardly placed backed up. So the race shape worked against Lee's Baby Girl. I think that she's going to get a relatively soft trip today on or near the front end. A year ago, Tom, on opening day, the rails were down. We had 3 turf miles. 2 of them were won by the pace setter. Another one was won by a horse from second position. So with the rails down, speed can hold. At least it did a year ago. I like number 5, Lee's Baby Girl, but number 3, Lila, ran a lot better than looked in her career debut. She was shuffled on the backstretch. She was 4 wide through the far turn. Second time out, blinkers on for trainer Richie Baltas. I thought number 3, Lila, had a chance to outrun her odds at 10-1, but I think the race goes through the non-program favorite anyway, number 5, Lee's Baby Girl, and I do respect the program favorite, number 1, Slick, but I'm going 5-3 in race 3.
And Lila debuted in a field of 12 in her one and only effort in the afternoon. She got bet down to 7-2 in that field of 12, and as you said, ran very well. Louis Sayas certainly in store for a big day today as well, potentially. Race number 4, we're sprinting 6.5 furlongs in the main track for Calbred fillies and mares, non-winners of 1 other than 1 scratch out the 5. Dory Miller leaves us with a field of 8. The morning line favorite down on the rail. Stop Digging from the Simon Callahan barn, going route to sprint, 5-2 on the morning line. Give us your thoughts on race 4, Brad.
I thought I was taking a shot by picking taking number 1, Stop Digging. I thought this is a good place for an upset by Stop Digging, who's shortening up from a mile to 6.5. Turns out she's the morning line favorite, so it's not a very creative selection, but I think that she wants to run short. She's been losing ground in her route races, or just not quite finishing the job. Pratt takes over, huge jockey switch. I like her to win from off the pace. It was Barbera was the front runner that I referred to earlier.
Yes, who likes this track.
Who likes this track. She's 3 starts here at Santa Anita, a win in 2 seconds. 6.5 furlongs is really going to test her stamina. I don't think she wants any part of 6.5, but I'll be curious to see how she runs as a way to perhaps base if there is any track profile data or track bias, so to speak. So Barbera is the horse to catch. I think that Stop Digging will wear her down. I respect number 4, Neen Diamond, as well. She finished 3rd last time out in what turned out to be a productive race. So 1-4 without a whole lot of conviction in race 4.
On today's 11 race card, Santa Anita is going to offer a 50-cent middle pick 4, which will kick off in race number 5. In race number 5, we're traveling 1 mile on the turf course for allowance optional claiming types, fillies and mares, non-winners of 1 other than. 3 scratches. Scratch the 2, Catalina Cocktail, the 12, Real Fire, and number 13, Sarija, leaves us with a field of 10. Morning line favorite, number 5, Shocking Gray from the Jeff Mullins barn, 5-2 on the morning line. I know a couple of horses you like scratched out of here, Brad, but you still like a runner in here best.
I do. This is kind of a weird race because there's no real confirmed, true, obvious pace setter in the field. I do know that number 11, Moment's Pleasure, I believe anyway, that she has more speed than she is sometimes allowed to show. And that's going to be my top selection. The scratch of number 13, Sarija, and 12, Real Fire. Those were my top 2 choices. Puts me on number 11, Moment's Pleasure. From the outside post, Kazushi Kimura, who's another great addition to the jockey colony. I think
rapidly adapting to Southern California.
No doubt about it. He's going to have to use this filly's speed to establish early position and not be parked wide into the first turn. And if he does that, I think the Moment's Pleasure could get potentially a good trip despite the outside post. She's my top selection. Shocking Gray is going to have to overcome a tepid pace scenario to win as the short price. I like Moment's Pleasure. And if she's half of her morning line, which she probably will be with the scratches, I wouldn't mind taking Moment's Pleasure at 4-1.
Race number 6 begins the $2 pick 6, the traditional $2 pick 6, once again offered here by Santa Anita. And the final 6 races on today's card are all graded stakes races, 3 of them grade 1s. In race number 6, however, it's the newly named Lafitte Pink High Stakes, grade 2, $200,000 guaranteed for runners traveling 1 mile and 1/16 on the main track. Before we get your thoughts on the race, long overdue for a race to be named in Lafitte's honor. I mean, he is I don't even begin to know how to describe him, because we all know how important and valuable he is to our industry.
Well, he's one of the greats of all time. When he retired in 2003, he was the all-time leading jockey with more than 8,000 wins. Russell Bays subsequently passed him. But Lafitte Pincay, not only was he a great jockey, but as you alluded to, he's also a great ambassador. And he's going to be here today signing some autographs and stuff. This is the first running of the Lafitte Pincay, once called the San Antonio Stakes, kind of sets up the winter handicap division. So it's very cool that Lafitte has a race finally named in his honor. I think that the morning line favorite is, I think he's a standout because Katona has been running against such better company than he faces here. He ran in the Pacific Classic, the California Crown, the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile last time out, in which he finished a better than look 5th.
Well, let's take a look at that. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at Katona's replay from the far turn coming to the finish line in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. He'll be wearing saddlecloth number 4 in this replay. You'll be able to pick him up near the back of the pack. He's caught wide around the turn and also has some trouble mid-stretch. Let's take a look at Katona against a much more difficult field than he's going to face today in his last effort at Del Mar on Breeders' Cup Saturday.
As they enter the far turn, and that was 45.47 seconds. So Tio Saint-Denis at a brisk pace with 3 furlongs to go, trying to hold on to this lead from Full Serrano. Muth is on the far outside. Tumbarumba sent along 2.5 back, and now Domestic Product is getting going. Domestic Product's going to come 5 wide. Right behind him, Sees the Gray. A really wide run here for Skippy Longstocking. Katona's also trying to mount a charge. Mufasa and Post Time is coming from the back of the pack as well. Full Serrano has taken the lead. Post Time is splitting horses late. Domestic Product on the outside. It is going to be Full Serrano and Post Time. Full Serrano in the Dirt Mile. Post Time was second.
Brad, the importance of watching replays on display right there. Really can't get that visual that you saw from reading the Daily Racing Forum, even the trip note comments as well. But he ran a much better effort than Look, puts the blinkers on and gets Frankie Dettori back in the saddle.
He ran a lot better than Look. And who knows if it cost him a position when he had that trouble at the top of the stretch or not. But he ran well against a much better field, finishing 5th. 3 horses have come out of the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile already and run well. The runner-up post time came back and finished 3rd in the Cigar Mile. 4th place finisher Tumpa Rumba ran 2nd in the Grade 3 Harlan's Holiday. And the last place finisher, Saudi Crown, came back to win a stakes race back in the Midwest. So the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, early indications are it's a live race. Katona's numbers are faster than anyone in this field. Trainer Doug O'Neill's putting blinkers on just to increase his focus a little bit. And this could be the breakthrough race for Katona, dropping in class out of the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, a better than Look 5th place finish. Second selection in this race is the horse that I think is going to be on the lead. That's number 7, Tarantino, who has done nothing but 3 good starts since being claimed by Peter Yurton for $40,000. Finished 2nd last time out to Skinner. This race would have been a little bit stronger if Skinner had not been transferred to Fairgrounds or if Full Serrano had not been hurt. But this is Katona's race to win or lose. He'll have to catch Tarantino. And there's a long shot in here that I'm very curious what the bettors are going to do with. Number 1, American Admiral. Ran well last time out, winning a little stakes race up at Pleasanton. Has trained super since then. Only the 3rd start of his comeback, and he loves Santa Anita. So number 1, American Admiral, is a horse that I'm going to be taking a close look at. I don't think he's going to be 12-1, but if he is, I'm very interested.
Race number 7 is the Grade 2 San Gabriel Stakes, going 1 1/8 on the turf course. It also begins the 50-cent late pick 5 and the $3 all turf pick 3, which has a reduced takeout this meet of just 15%. We've got a good field of 9 Make the Jockey on number 7, Luis Saez, the morning line favorite, and perhaps this likely single on many players' pick 6 and multi-race exotica plays will be number 4, Johannes, who has done nothing wrong here at Santa Anita. 4 to 5 on the morning line, ran a winning, had a winning type of effort in the Breeders' Cup Mile. Single for you, Brad?
Single for everybody. To me, he's the shortest price of the day. He's the most probable winner on the card. He's listed at 4 to 5. I can see him going shorter. He ran dynamite in the Breeders' Cup Mile. The pace was fast. He was relatively close. He challenged for the lead and got mowed down late by a horse who rallied from far off of that fast pace. But Johannes, he has tactical speed and a finishing kick, and that is the winning profile for any good grass horse. If you can be forwardly placed and then deliver a kick, they don't catch you. His main rivals are number 2, Easter, who ran better than Look, finishing 4th by a length last time out in the Grade 2. That was the Seabiscuit. And so too did number 9, Seal Team, run a lot better than Look. He was closer to the pace than I think that his connections wanted him to be. Opened up into the lane, and he just probably moved a little bit too soon. He ended up finishing 5th by a length. I thought he ran better than Look. So Johannes is the horse to beat. I'll be surprised if he does get beat. The 2 logical upset candidates are Late Runner Easter and Pace Presser Seal Team. Race
number 8 is the aforementioned Grade 1 Malibu Stakes for 3-year-olds, sprinting 7 furlongs in the main track. It also begins the 50-cent late pick 4. If you're into statistics, the favorites have won 8 of the last 14 editions of the Malibu. Doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen today, but we've got a field of 6 after the scratch of both 1 and 4. The morning line favorite, the aforementioned number 6, Mystic Dan, 5 to 2 on the morning line. We already kind of tipped our hand that we respect Mystic Dan, but we think he could be a bit vulnerable. Give us your thoughts on race 8, Brad.
Well, we have to at least acknowledge the scratch of number 1, Ben Tornado, who is arguably the fastest.
Massive scratch.
Huge scratch. He was going to influence the pace scenario. He was fast enough to win this race. Something went awry. He had a great workout over the track last week. He's out. So is number 4, Senior Officer. So the pace scenario softens up considerably. The 2 front runners now are number 2, Pilot Commander, who will be breaking from the inside post, and the horse on the outside, number 8, Raging Torrent. I like number 7, Stronghold. He skipped the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile to target this race specifically. He's training very well for Phil D'Amato. He has enough speed to be forwardly placed, and I can see Stronghold tucking into a perfect trip, sitting 3rd or 4th behind Pilot Commander and or Raging Torrent. So Stronghold's going to get first run, and I think he wins the Malibu if he can hold off the late charge of number 6, Mystic Dan, the Kentucky Derby winner.
Race number 9 offers a $3 late pick 3 wagering with a 15% takeout. And race 9 goes as the grade 2 Mathis Mile for 3-year-olds traveling 1 mile on the turf course. 2 scratches here. Take out the 3 and the 4, leaves us with a field of 7. Make the jockey at number 2, Mike Smith, morning line favorite. King of Gosford, shortening up in distance for the Phil D'Amato Barn, 6-5 on the morning line. Favorites here also have dominated 9 for 18 since 2006. Who do you like in race 9, Brad?
Well, the scratch of number 3, Curlin's Chaos, another key scratch, completely alters the pace scenario. He was going to make the lead. The race should unfold perfectly for King of Gosford, who has enough tactical speed to be forwardly placed. I mean, he was a 2-time sprint winner down the hill earlier this year, so we know he has sprint speed, and his form is terrific. Runner-up in the Grade 1 Hollywood Derby last time out. I think King of Gosford will be a relatively short price, and I think he's going to win this race. Second selection in here, number 5, Stay Hot, who really did not have a great trip last time out. It was in the Hollywood Derby. A mile and 1/8 might be a little bit too far for him. The challenge for Stay Hot is that now with Curlin's Chaos out of the race, there is a lot less speed for Stay Hot to run at. So King of Gosford is going to get first run. I think he wins this at a short number. He'll have to hold off number 5, Stay Hot. There's one crazy horse in here.
We like crazy horses.
Well,
Who is it?
how about 15-1 on number 9, Lord Bullington? His comeback was an okay 6th against older horses and a 2 other than. That was his first start since May. He earned a good number, 89 buyer, a 7 on Thoroughgraph, and he has trained very well since. He could get overlooked because when you look at the form of Lord Bullington, it's just okay. Second start off the bench for trainer Michael McCarthy. I think this horse is live at a big price, number 9, Lord Bullington. But for the purposes of the show, 1-5, King of Gosford and Stay Hot.
Race number 10 is the Grade 1 La Brea Stakes presented by Don Julio. It's a $300,000 purse for 3-year-old fillies traveling 7 furlongs in the main track. Also begins the $5 late daily double, combining our last 2 races here with a low 15% takeout. This is the race where at least it hasn't been formful lately, Brad. Just 3 favorites have won since the year 2000. 3 for 24 with favorites. And we've got 3 scratches in this race. 5 Ultimate Authority, number 10 Tamara, number 11 Cavallari have all been declared out of the race. That still leaves us with 3 Bob Baffert runners, including number 9 Hope Road, who's been on a win streak this year. 3-1 on the morning line. Tough race. Who do you like and why?
This is a really tough race. It's arguably the deepest stakes race on the card.
I agree.
Even with the 3 scratches. I wish I had a strong opinion in here because this is the type of race that's just fun to jump into if you have a strong opinion. I really don't. I like number 7, Magic Filly, or I prefer her anyway, dropping out of the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint. She was kind of blocked inside, did not have a comfortable trip. Not saying she could have won or even finished in the money, but things did not break her way in the Filly Mare Sprint. She's taken a huge class drop to face 3-year-old fillies, and we already know that she likes Santa Anita. She's a Grade 3 winner over this track. She's going to get a forwardly placed trip. She's my top selection over the streaking Hope Road, daughter of Quality Road and Marley's Freedom. Marley's Freedom.
We remember her.
Yeah, she was a very
Trained by Bob Baffert.
Trained by Baffert. She was a multiple Grade 1 winner, and this Hope Road is out of that top class dam, and she's taken after her top class dam as well, except for at least Hope Road can go long. Marley's Freedom could not. Hope Road is 4 for 4. She's on a roll. She's drawn near the outside. So, if you like her, this is the spot for her. I prefer the filly dropping out of the better race, 1 Magic Filly. And I'm not sure what to do with number 2, Accuracy. If this was a 2-turn race, I'd say, well, she has to win this race. But she's cutting back from routes to a sprint. She's down near the inside in post number 2. Just not sure what kind of trip that number 2 Accuracy is going to be able to work out. But I can't wait to watch her career unfold. The 107 buyer speed figure this year, 2 starts back, the second highest buyer speed figure on dirt by a fillier mare in 2024. She is very good. I'm not sure if 7 furlongs is her deal.
We close out an incredible 11-race card with the Grade 1 American Oaks in race 11 at 4:12 p.m. Pacific time. Also, race 11 offers $1 super high 5 wagering, and we're traveling 1.25 miles on the turf course for 3-year-old fillies. There's 2 scratches. Scratch the inside 2 fillies, Omaha Girl and Sakura Blossom will not compete. Still leaves us with a full field of 11. The morning line favorite, number 8, She Feels Pretty, who won the Queen Elizabeth of Keeneland, is 7-5, ridden by Johnny V. Talk to us about race 11, Brad.
She Feels Pretty has always been one of the leaders of her division. When she was a 2-year-old filly more than a year ago, I thought she was best in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. She finished 3rd by a half length. She was wide every step of the way. She covered a lot more ground than the 1-2 finishers. It took her kind of a little while to really, develop as a 3-year-old. Last time out, trainer Cherie Deveau put blinkers on, and She Feels Pretty. She smoked him in the Queen Elizabeth at Keeneland. She won by 6 lengths. She's got a forwardly placed running style, and she can finish. We mentioned that earlier. So she feels pretty. It's going to be tough to beat at a short price. The one long shot I would take a look at would be number 5, Watchtower, who is very, very good right now. Can she go 1 1/4 miles? We don't know. But Richie Baltas, when these horses get good on grass, he seems to do very well with fillies and mares on grass. I think Watchtower has a chance to maybe outrun her odds. She's going to be coming from far out of it. Probably not as far out of it as she was at shorter distances, because this is 1 1/4 miles, but I think she can possibly complete the exacta. So 8-5, she feels pretty over Watchtower.
Brad and I have been smiling from ear to ear the last 40 minutes just thinking about today's card. We're hoping you're smiling from ear to ear at the end of the day by having more money in your pocket. What a tremendous day of racing. It's our honor to represent Santa Anita and First Racing on today's opening day card. We hope you have nothing but good luck and have a tremendous amount of fun. Thanks so much for watching the seminar, everybody. Keep in mind, live racing here at Santa Anita resumes tomorrow. And Brad, thanks so much for your time and insight. Always great having you. We'll do it more throughout the rest of the meet.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day of racing. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Here at Santa Anita Park, we are honoring the great Hall of Fame jockey Lafitte Pink-Eye Jr., and we are giving away a special print of Lafitte while supplies last. Lafitte is autographing these prints near the Kingsbury Fountain. It'll start in about 5 minutes from 10:30 until 11:45 a.m. while supplies last. Go into the East Paddock Gardens by the Kingsbury Fountain and meet the legend, Lafitte Pink-Eye Jr. Head over to the fountain for your piece of history. Additionally, over at our gift shop, a special book signing from the immensely talented Jay Hovde, Well Armed, a Thoroughbred of Destiny. The author, Jay Hovde, on hand to sign his new book, along with jockey and trainer of Well Armed, Aaron Grider and Owen Hardy. Well Armed, a Thoroughbred of Destiny. That book signing begins in just a few minutes at the gift shop and will go for 1 hour until 11:30 a.m. Get your autographed copy of Well Armed, a Thoroughbred of Destiny at our gift shop, and meet the living legend Lafitte Pink-Eye Jr. at the Kingsbury Fountain. 2 great opportunities this morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to opening day at Santa Anita Park. At this time, we direct your attention to the winner's circle and welcome Chechi Sarah, who will perform the Star-Spangled Banner. Chechi is a singer, songwriter, and producer. Chechi wowed the judges during her appearance on The Voice, which is available on YouTube, and it was quite a performance. She has sung live backgrounds for Lizzo, Kanye West, Lucky Day, Deborah Cox, and more. A rising artist with many accomplishments in her career thus far. Be on the lookout for great things to come from Chechi. Please rise to honor America as we proudly present our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous was pied, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, the brave.
Etchi Sarah hearing it from the crowd here at Santa Anita Park. The great news, she'll be back a little later today with God Bless America. Thank you, Chechi. Track is fast on opening day, and the turf course is firm. The rail on the turf is at 0 feet. Here are the changes. Race 1, start of the 50-cent early pick 5, scratch number 4, Money Makes Money. Please note, Hector Barrios is not riding today. Humberto Rispoli will be aboard number 13, Player B, who does draw in, scratch number 14, Commander. In the second, we kick off the early pick 4. No scratches or jockey changes. In the third, number 4, Isn't She Lovely? The jockey Asa Espinoza. Scratch 13, Parle. Scratch 14, Rice Patty. 13 and 14 are out. In the fourth, scratch number 5, Dory Miller. Race 4, scratch number 5. In the fifth, the middle pick 4 begins. Scratch 2, Catalina Cocktail. Scratch 12, Real Fire. And scratch number 13, Sariha. 2, 12, and 13 are out. Middle pick 4 starts with the fifth. The sixth race, the newly named Lafitte Pink Eye Junior Stakes. Lafitte is by the Kingsbury Fountain now, signing a print while supplies last. Big crowd already on hand there for that. Express train number 4 will be ridden by Luis Saez. The $2 pick 6 starts with the sixth. In the seventh, the San Gabriel Stakes, number 7, Mi Hermano Ramon, make the jockey Luis Saez. Late pick 5 starts, as does the $3 all-turf pick 3. The eighth, the grade 1 Malibu, scratch 1, Ben Tornado, scratch 4, Senior Officer, 1 and 4 out of the eighth. In the ninth, the grade 2 Mathis Mile, number 2, Atitlan, the jockey Mike Smith, $3 late pick 3 starts here. Scratch 3, Curlin's Chaos. Scratch 4, CNY. 3 and 4 are out. In the 10th race, scratch number 5, Ultimate Authority. The 10th is the La Brea, presented by Don Julio, grade 1 event. Scratch 5, Ultimate Authority. Scratch 10, Tamara. And scratch number 11, Cavalieri. And in the 11th, the grade 1 American Oak, scratch 1, Omaha Girl, scratch 2, Sakura Blossom. Those are the changes on this opening day program.